We're good. I'll start it off this time. All right. Well, welcome to Let's Preppers. Today we're just kind of covering, like you said, why. Just the word why. Why do we prep? What involves our preps, and just the meaning to us on what it means for what it means to us.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. You know, we kind of have the idea of the 5 Ps, the 5 priorities for us. Although they don't all start with P.
No, they don't.
None of them actually.
The 5 priorities, but
yeah, the 5 priorities,
yeah.
and for me, that's going to be water, food, security, medical, and comms. Everything else would fit into one of those categories, and that's kind of how I approach things for my family. Obviously, water. 3 days without water, you're a goner.
Right.
3 weeks without food. Let's see, security. That's, your shelter. That's your home. That's your vehicle. That's weapons. That's, less lethal, non-lethal, lethal. That incorporates it all. Melee weapons, whatever you want to do.
Right.
Then medical. Obviously, trauma kits we've done. First aid kits. That sort of thing. And then comms.
Just the basic forms of communication, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are the 5 Ps we'll be going over. He has his in his own order, and I've got mine in my order. So.
It's almost exactly the same. I think we have it written down on notes, but like the medical and security are swapped in us. I put medical before security. But yeah, we can just go over, start with one of them as far as like why water. We'll start with the top. Why water is more important than all the rest. For me, it's just because, again, like what you said, you can't survive without water. There's no way you can survive without water. Yeah. But also for us at the same time, hygiene, that could eventually lead to a medical issue later on down the line.
Absolutely.
Food, if you have freeze-dried food, what do you need? You need water to reconstitute that food. So there's almost everything falls under water into that case. So whether it be potable water, non-potable.
Yeah, and I think we've gone over, since we've been doing this whole preparedness thing, we've gone over different ways to store water, different ways to procure water, different ways to filter water. And, I really think that's just the case. It's trial and error, and what works best for you. For instance, I've got like 36 cases of water.
Right.
Plus I've got a 55-gallon drum of water, and then I've got multiple 7.5-gallon totes of water and 5-gallon totes of water. We've got a pool that holds 3,500 gallons.
Right.
I battle with what's the perfect way, and going on YouTube and watching all these videos of people that are far more advanced than certainly I. But I guess my thing is as long as I've got enough water to last my family a good period of time. Is it ever enough? Who knows?
Right. Well, you don't know the term of the duration of
the duration. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Absolutely, and you guys saw that we have the Sawyer Minis, some Life Straws. I would love to get one of those nice Berkeys, Berkey Black or Big Berkeys or Royal Berkeys or whatever. That's my next plan for an at-home or camping type deal.
Yep. Well, I was just going to say for camping as well. That's something that'd be awesome. They only filter depending on the size you get. 3 to 5 to 6 gallons per hour, but again, if you plan it properly, it would be perfect.
Well, and then that's where your bottled water, your cases of water, your totes of water would come into play as well. For instance, our pool, I probably, because there's so much chlorine in it, because there's tons of kids swimming in it, we're talking probably just for hygiene purposes. Mm-hmm. Could you drink it? Yeah. Filter it enough? Sure. Could particulates get in there? Absolutely. It's not, fail-proof. But it's there, if we need it.
Yep.
Obviously, that's why we all prepare.
And for your water, as far as because you said you had cases, you have the 55-gallon drum, you have all these different forms of water. Mm-hmm. Each one serves its own purpose, and so you never really know what situation you're going to be falling into. So I'm assuming that's why you have the smaller bottles you can throw in a bag, you can separate, you can take with you. They're a little more mobile. Whereas the 55-gallon drum, you're here.
Look, if you're bugging out, you're never going to be able to carry enough water on you. Plus everything else, 72-hour bins, medical stuff, bug-out bags, get-home bags, kids' day bags. You're never going to be able to carry all your gear. And we even have a trailer that we could load stuff into. But, our plan is to stay here.
Yeah.
That's why we moved out of the city.
Bug in, stay in.
Stay in,
right.
Bunker down, that sort of thing. And as far as my food situation, I went back and forth from the freeze-dried to the dehydrated to, just pantry food is what I call it. Normal, everyday stuff that we buy, just buy extras, stock up the pantry. I've got a bunch of it sitting down here. Coffees, teas, peanut butters, all that stuff. I mean, I've even got, bars of soap, extra shampoos, all that good stuff, hygiene stuff. That's all my pantry stuff, I call it.
Yeah.
I also have, those buckets. I think Costco had them.
Well, yeah.
Which, taste this stuff, because before you go out and buy a bunch of it, taste it, because some of this stuff is horrible.
The one we bought, I can't remember the brand of it off the top of the head, but you may or may not have it, but this stuff is just crazy. It
Ready project.
It doesn't taste good, but in a dire situation, yes, it's edible.
Yeah.
And then
eat or die? Yeah, I'm gonna eat that crap.
Right, and at the same time, I mean, it could be used as a butter as well. So you could use that food to
or
butter.
Unexpected friends and family that show up.
Yeah, exactly.
The ones that didn't want to listen to you, thought you were kind of crazy because you did YouTube videos.
Yeah. You might want to buy another 2 or 3 of those.
So I've gotten into a little bit of the bulk stuff. Rice, beans, that sort of stuff.
All the dried milk, the dried eggs, things like that.
Sure. Yeah, all the dried stuff, honeyville.com.
Oh,
they're expensive, but it's good food.
It's really good stuff.
They have a recipe book, which we bought, that can show you different recipes with their stuff.
I've noticed with that, though, it's not so much like, we're in a SHTF situation. It's more like, it's like the freeze-dried stuff that you get, we're using it for a Sunday night meal. So I'd be cautious as far as what the purpose of why you'd be buying that book. But, I mean, it's a great book, though. Great stuff. I have a hard time trying to cook, let alone trying to cook the stuff from freeze-dried material. But, yeah. But anyways,
Yeah, and then security. I mean...
That's like a very broad term, security.
It's broad and it's personal.
Yeah.
Who wants to divulge all their security stuff? But, if you're hunkering down at home, maybe you want to get yourself some pieces of pre-cut plywood, to each spec for each window of each, room in your house. Put it on the inside, obviously not the outside. Hopefully you have some curtains or some blinds that you can put it on the outside of. But you might want to have this stuff ready. I'm not there yet, although I'm wanting to get there. Have on hand a bunch of screws, obviously charged up screw guns, all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, like with my house, like the smaller windows, we have a 2-story house, and you always try to have, 2 means of egress in any situation when you're trying to, right? You don't want to corner yourself in a situation that you can't get yourself out of. So in that aspect of it, boards, things like that, you also want a way to exit from another way.
There's always going to be a weak point. Let me tell you, if they want in,
they're going to get in.
So,
but and then security also isn't just fortifying and this and that. It's also just like a sense of security on a mental standpoint.
Absolutely.
So having the right materials to come across any scenario or be able to.
Yeah.
Those are kids.
Running around.
That's right out the window.
It's like 90 plus degrees outside right now. That's why I'm sweating, because it's hot in here. Yeah, as far as security, you're right. So off track real quick, when we hear that there's going to be a big storm coming in and we could lose power and stuff, because of our preparedness here at home, we feel more secure because we don't have to be the ones running to the stores to get a case of water or, there's
just putting yourself in a dangerous situation.
Absolutely. Trees, there's tons of trees around here, obviously.
Yeah.
And, it happens all the time. People get whacked by trees.
Yeah.
So I'd be thinking about fortifying. I'd be thinking about physical security. If you don't have people helping you to develop your plan, your group of prepping, you can't stay up for 24 hours, 7 days a week for 4 weeks, or however long this event's gonna, take place.
And then try to sleep on top of that.
Exactly.
Anyways, when you're out by yourself.
You're gonna be stressed out. You're gonna be working a lot more. You're gonna be putting boards up on the windows. You're gonna be procuring water, all sorts of stuff. So have an idea of that sort of stuff. And this is where I started, was with the water. That was my priority. Obviously, it's number one.
Mm-hmm.
So I started with the 72-hour idea. I've got 72-hour bins that we'll hopefully do a video on. started with 72 hours worth of food and water and supplies for the family, and then grew that to 5 days,
Right.
and then 7 days, and then 2 weeks.
So this would basically start small. Even if you don't have a day's worth of water, I mean, just start there. Even whatever the first block, I guess, wherever you say, you know what, this is doable for me, just do it. And then I'm telling you, after a year of doing it, 2 years of doing it, 3 years of doing it, and you just take those baby steps forward, 3 years of doing baby steps, I mean, you're going to get pretty far. So.
I mean, if we do nothing else for you other than to give you the 5 categories that, maybe you can think about: water, food, security, medical, and comms.
Yeah.
Okay, that's mine. Everything else, like we've said, it goes into there. Think about those priorities. Obviously, water, that's the biggest one, 3 days, like we've said multiple times. Start there, guys. Get a gallon a day for a week. There you go. I mean, if it's just you, great. I try to go on the 2 gallons per person per day, plus the dogs and the animals.
Right.
We have 4 dogs, so they don't drink a gallon of water a day, so I think that's a safe number.
Yeah.
But you got to remember your animals, because you don't want to sit there on top of things, sit there and watch them suffer.
Right.
I mean, that's horrible.
But on the medical aspect of it, covering both trauma, the actual medicine side of it, illnesses and things like that. But for me, I also put down disability. So if there's somebody who has a disability who are on long-term pain medications or any type of other pains, diabetics, they would have, the insulin, whatever it would need to be. I mean, that's also a thing that you would have to brainstorm to try to come up with.
Well, not to mention, we had mentioned earlier about the unwanted families and friends. I mean, let's be real here. You're not going to turn away grandma and grandpa and aunt and uncle, and grandma's in a walker and grandpa's on oxygen. Really? You're not going to turn them away. So you need to be thinking about stuff like that. No, I'm not going to go get oxygen supplies, but could a generator benefit me and them? Probably.
Right.
So
short term.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that'd be another thing I'd look at. And I'm sure, I mean, a lot of these things are repetitive as far as what we've said, or you've heard them several times, but like we really wanted to just drive that home. And then, but on top of these 5 categories, I mean, have you seen anybody talk about these different, basically categorize everything into 5 different categories? I'm trying to think if there's any other guys out there that we could
that's
reference.
because I'm simple-minded. That's what works best for me. By all means, guys, there's a million ways to do this, but from people that have done it and have the supplies and stuff, I mean, I had to literally write down lists and, okay, how much water do I need to buy? How much food do I need? Okay, what else do I need? And that's where it all took place and then developed.
Yep.
So I would start small, start with like we've said, 72 hours, and then build from there. But yeah, think about some of these things, and of course, let us know what you think. But and get family involved.
Well, yeah, especially with communications. So, which I think we can lead into as far as that goes. That one is very complex as far as trying to actually get a good system in place.
Yeah.
Because think, if the power went out, everything just died right now, and just out.
Couldn't charge your phone.
You have no
power to charge your phone.
To communicate? You may have a fully charged phone, but you can't hit the tower to send a text message out. Yeah. So do you guys have something put in place if you do have loved ones, if you do have other family members or even friends that you are wanting to plan with, that you have some type of form of communications? You have a band or a ribbon system and different colors and stuff like that.
Yeah, so what he's talking about is, we developed a family communications plan. And then outside of the family communications plan, we went outside to the prepper group communications plans. Part of that communications plan is, okay, if you see a pink ribbon on my front door, that means I'm no longer home, but I'm okay, and to go to the secondary location.
Right.
Just by pulling up, seeing that ribbon, so you don't have to get out and knock and draw more unwanted attention to yourself or to your family or to your bug-out vehicle or whatever it is. You see a waving pink ribbon on the front door, to head to the next location. Go and head off. Yep. And
that
literally
falls
it's
under
just
security.
Yeah, and then you go into the security parts of things. But the family comms plan, I mean, get on readygov.com and FEMA, and you can print out family communications plans. They even have little wallet-sized ones that you can write down all your important numbers: physicians, dentists, your electric company, your gas company, all that good stuff. Emergency contacts outside of the state, outside of the area contacts. Bank account numbers, all that stuff. We've got our home insurance company stuff on there. You know, you need to have that stuff with you. You know, sure, laminate them if you want, put them in a safe. But mine's in my wallet all the time, good to go.
Yeah.
So that's under the family communications plan.
A little accordion fold.
Yeah,
You know
it's awesome. Yeah, I don't have a laminate, but it's an accordion fold. Also, you know, we are both now ham radio operators, licensed, which we'll get into videos in the future probably. But that's obviously part of our communications plan.
Yeah.
I have a few radios. I always have one on me or in the vehicle, and there's several at home.
Right.
So that's part of the communications plan. In the event of an emergency, you don't need a license. However, you need the know-how.
Right.
But say I had already pre-set up radios, and all you have to do at home is turn it on. Plus, I have a list of instructions in case they, you know, get fouled up, that are pretty easy to understand. But you don't even have to talk here at home. I can talk to you and tell you what to do, and you don't even have to talk.
Right.
So
yeah, and that's the same thing with my wife. She's not certified, but literally turn the radio on and good to go. Just listen. So, and she knows when to listen. So, but yeah, comms I think is important. A lot of people will die trying to learn, get knowledge, and try to understand things. They'll go way out of their way just to try to get information on what's going on, how things are. So having a good communications plan, being able to get out, even a simple radio, something you could dial in to get information, something just simple to start off with is perfect, and then you can work up from there. So
yeah, I mean, don't think that you're gonna buy, you know, the family radios from Costco and think that you're gonna get anything useful out of them. You're talking not even a mile at best, 3/4 maybe.
Yeah.
Flat, even terrain that's line of sight. Just don't waste your money, don't waste your effort. Go out and get yourself a ham radio license, and you know, join the fun.
Or at least study and
Yeah.
get to know how the technicalities of how all that stuff works. So, and then it comes back to the knowledge aspect of a lot of this stuff. So, but yeah.
Yeah, and in medical, you know, Scott touched on it. When we've hit on it, obviously, before, with you're going to use a gun, you need to be able to think about, well, gosh, what if I'm the one that gets shot, or a family member? How am I going to handle that?
Right.
In a you know, WROL without rule of law situation, you know, shit hits the fan, the fire department's not coming to you.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Right. At least try to do something, right?
Yeah,
at least
then,
you have something put in place.
Yeah, and put back your medications. I mean, not the ones that you're taking, because you're going to need to take those, but I'm talking, you know, you go get a tooth ripped out and you get meds that you don't use. Stock goes up. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's it. We just wanted to cover those 5 basic ideas as far as our categories, and then just touch base on them. Don't want to ramble on all night, or
I could.
I know we really could, and we're trying to struggle to like keep this to the point.
Short.
But yeah, and so that's where we're at with this. I hope that you can at least get away if anything is, again, like he was saying, water, food, medical, security, comms, and put that into place however you want. So if you don't know where to start, you are just getting started, or maybe you've gotten somewhere but then now you're kind of stuck, use this as a reference to kind of point you in the right direction and get you somewhere. If it's too much to handle, just pick a category.
Yeah.
Just go, you know what, let's pick on this category and just go with that. What I've been doing is I've been picking my weakest link out of those 5. Okay, I got plenty of water. I'm pretty good right now, but what is my weakest part? Is it security? Okay, let's jump on security and we'll bring that up. So you're only as strong as your weakest link, I guess. To kind of playing off of that, but
just use these as general ideas. I mean, we are not the end all be all gods of prepping. We're not. But we have families and families that rely on us, and if you yourself has a family, I mean, obviously everyone does, but you know, be that person that's the catalyst that gets this ball rolling. And you know, food and water. Okay, if you just start there, get food and water.
Yeah.
Just start there, and then move on. So
that's all I got. All right.
That's all I got for now.
Try to keep it, try to keep it short, as short as we could.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys. Hope you got something out of here. Comment below if there's anything you guys have questions on, or an idea, even disagreements. I mean, we're not afraid
completely
of that.
wrong. Hey, you guys suck.
Yeah.
Drop it.
Yeah. Give us a thumbs down even. But hopefully it's a thumbs up. Yeah. Go ahead, guys. Enjoy it. Use this and apply it. Talk to you guys later.